Last week, amongst the amazing amount of sound problems, we also talked about metallic dragons.
Yep. It's been kind of like, Dragon Month.
Yeah, you know.
Month of the Dragon. Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay. Today we're going to do the oddballs. We're going to do the stuff we never talk about. We're going to do the weird dragons that people have never heard of in some cases. I'm going to dig out some books here that I've got some very old stuff in. And we're also going to talk about, we're going to recap last week. This is my recap of last week. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Are you ready? This is my recap of last week. Dragon. Dragon.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Good. Because last week was a technical nightmare. Anyway. So apparently this week things are already shaping up better. Hell, they couldn't get much worse. I didn't say they couldn't get. I said they couldn't get much worse. Don't speak that kind of hate on me, Ricky Bobby. Anyway, so again, we're going to talk about oddballs. We're also going to cover the Dragonborn, mostly in the sense that apparently it's the big class to cover for the 5th ed, for the Dragon PCs. I'm going to belabor some of the weirder dragons that I found in the old books, which were really interesting, by the way. And we're going to do some music time tonight. We're also going to talk about dragons of the oddball variety in the campaign, how we can stretch our characters, and we're going to discourse for funsies with dragons. We're also going to take something that I thought was kind of fun the one week when we were doing the evil dragons. We were all talking about the voicings of the dragons. Well, this time with the with the oddball dragons, we're going to try to do some voicings too because Dave can sing, therefore he can do characterizations.
I don't know if that's entirely accurate.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, give it a shot.
You're being voluntold.
Yeah. Is it because I did the Kentucky Dragon?
Yeah. You spoke that bullshit into my head, so I get to get you back. We're also going to do how to populate a multiverse. We're going to talk about dragon deities. We're going to talk about how to use them, how you can shape them, and what the meta is now compared to what the meta was when I was paying attention to the books. At the end, we're also going to create a viable dragon lair with an oddball dragon. We're going to pick one, and we're going to create its lair, and we're going to set it up to where we think it'd be a good campaign piece. And we're also going to talk about ecology of dragons, because one of the things that people don't ever get into, it's like, how bad do dragons break the economy around them? Mm-hmm. How bad do they screw up the ecology?
And we did touch on it a little bit last week.
We did just a little bit, yeah. But I'm talking about more along. But see, there are specific dragons in this book. There's one in particular that I'm going to use because it's not doing anything wrong per se, but it causes a really weird problem in and of itself. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to foreshadow next week. Next week's going to be fun. I'm going to wait till the end of the show to talk about that. But before we begin anything else, it's time for us to shill for the people.
Yep.
Therefore, go to YouTube and hit the likes and the ring the bells, and then go to the Twitch and hit the follow button. And now we are affiliate. You can actually subscribe. Yep. You
Click
can pay money. You can pay money to see this loveliness every week. Anyway, now that I've scared anybody away from coming back, hey. Anyway. Let's get on with it. We're going to talk about the oddballs. Let's start out with the Dragonborn, because that was the oddball that everybody seemed to launch into. Tell me what the current meta is to use a Dragonborn as the 5th edition character.
They're a standard race in the player's handbook.
Is there any kind of a level limitation?
Nope.
Any kind of a level offset?
Nope.
Okay, then how do they keep it from being this overpowered jackass that it was in 3rd?
So you get your standard, sort of stat increases that you would with like any other race. It's usually like 2 in one stat, 1 in another stat, that sort of thing. I think they get like strength and con or something like that. But
okay.
Now something else. I don't remember. I haven't played a Dragonborn yet in 5th ed, but The only really like nifty thing you get as a Dragonborn just automatically is your breath weapon, which you can use it like once a day or something like that, and
Or
it's
flight.
not that powerful. You don't get flight.
You don't get flight.
However, as of I think it's Xanathar's Guide to Everything or Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, one of the two, they offered a feat in there where you could, in fact, trade your breath weapon for flight. So
Easy decision.
So the feat gives you wings, you lose your breath weapon.
Easy
So
decision.
that's how they balance that out. But it's an optional rule, and a lot of DMs are not going to let you have flying at like, 4th level.
Wow.
Which is when you'd first be able to get a feat. Although at 4th level, it's not that bad.
Granted, what,
Yeah.
fly is a 3rd level spell, though?
Right, which you wouldn't get till 5th as a sorcerer or wizard. So it's not It's not as game breaking as like having an Aarakocra that can fly at level 1.
Or
So-
Kenkus.
I would. Kenku can't fly at all.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They
Yeah,
can.
they're cursed. Yeah, they don't get to fly at all.
Of course you like Aarakocra. Hush.
Yeah, Aarakocra are awesome. Yeah, or rangers. Fly around just, raining down arrows on everybody. Especially when you get Horde Breaker.
You people make me sad.
You
Anyway.
get some naughty stuff going on. You stay just out of range of everything.
Until the
Yeah.
big windstorm comes up.
Yeah, Sorcerer gets nasty too.
I bet it does.
Yeah.
All right. Now that's the current, the old 3rd edition meta. That remember the last time I was digging in the books, they were just game ripping, man. They were terrifying. I mean, it was like,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they definitely went through and balanced them. And I think part of that is because Dragonborn are a standard race in 5th, just like Tieflings.
when was the last time you saw a Moonstone Dragon?
Oh man, that's old school there.
Or the
Prismatic Dragon, yeah.
and the albino worm, which is a dragon.
Nice.
King.
I've got another one that you probably haven't seen for a while.
What's that?
Radiant Dragon
Oh,
from
yeah, those things
Spelljammer.
are tough.
Yeah, big space dragon, yeah. So yeah, I always thought those were really cool.
Here's one that I'm going to talk about a little bit, by the way, that most people don't even really know about and never have. They're called brine dragons.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Brine dragons are like fully aquatic. They can't come out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like a dumbed down version of dragon turtle. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
kind of like a dragon turtle with no shell. Yeah.
Dragon turtles. Turtles. By the way, here's something for you. Anybody know what a Linnorm dragon is?
Oh, I remember those.
This is the corpse terror.
Yeah.
These are the ones that they used for their Nordic pushover, and then you
Yeah.
have the jade dragons and the jacinth, which are tiny little guys, by the way. But one of my favorites, pearl dragons, dragon can, which essentially this is where I think they got the idea for the dragonborn characters.
Oh, probably, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
One of the things that I enjoyed about this particular book was the Fang Dragon, Draco Dentus Terribilis.
Yep.
And then you have the Electrum Dragon. Now, what was funny, I don't know whether the camera can see this or not. Production
Maybe.
mistress. Okay, that's an Electrum Dragon, okay?
It's a dancing Electrum Dragon.
You remember when they talked about the dragon that was running the trading consortium? This was, I think, made to kind of be that. These guys are art collectors, and they like trading and bargaining, and they welcome people into the lair.
Right.
Like, come on in.
Yeah, you got some stuff to trade.
Let's trade.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
wheel and deal. And
They're
it's
like
weird because it's one of the
business
few
dragons.
dragons that will invite you into the lair without eating you.
Well, aside from a lot of the metallic ones, yeah.
And then you have this bastard, this Fang Dragon. These things are terrible. Remember, I'm going to say this now. This came out way, way long ago, back in the Stone Ages. And I really think that Rowling ripped this off for the Hungarian Horntail.
Could have.
This is the only dragon in the world, the Fang Dragon, that actually drains levels from a bite. Now, there are dragon breath weapons that can drain levels with a breath weapon,
Yep.
but this is the only guy that sucks them out whenever he bites you. And that was always a fun time.
It's just
So
decidedly unfriendly.
keep in mind, guys, these old monstrous compendiums, these little splat books, are still floating around.
And that's actually a mechanic I have not seen yet in 5th ed. I don't know if they had it in 3.5.
What, level
but
draining?
The whole level drain thing.
They ran screaming from level draining because players couldn't handle having their levels drained.
Oh.
And they whined and pissed and moaned, and this is one of those things your DM hates.
Well, I think they replaced it with a worse one in 5th ed.
What's that?
Levels of exhaustion.
No, the
It
constant.
doesn't matter what level you are. 6 levels of exhaustion and you're dead. That's it. End of story.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
You ever seen a sea worm?
Oh yeah. Yeah, one of the things I did with my conversion of the 2nd ed Shadow Dragon was its breath weapon did levels of exhaustion.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, so you can only get hit by that so many times before you're just toast.
By the way, look at that headline.
What? Oh yeah, Ghost Dragon. Yeah.
And there's my Cerulean. If you look, it's weird. It's the old school dragon. See the 2 rear legs and the front legs are actually the wings?
Right.
And that is another construction tip that I think that Miss Rowling took away from D&D. Was really interesting because it was that was from the Birthright setting. That was the Cerulean dragon that breathes that mixture of breath weapons, because there is no type of dragon on Cerulia except Cerulean dragons. And it was interesting to me because they weren't anything. I mean, they only started old. That's
Right.
it. And then they only go to Great Worm, and that's it. The thing about them is, though, is that they're only very rare. And what's hilarious about very rare on the table, it's still 7 in 100 chance of rolling a fucking dragon that walks in the door at old.
Right.
Just squash you like a bug. So it was super, super cool. And then you get into these guys. These guys are dream dragons.
Which that's the whole like group of neutral dragons, right?
Yeah. This dragon actually lives in the dream state. Because that's one of the things they live in. They live in the dreamscape realm.
Right.
Which I thought was super, super neat.
Which nowadays you'd probably just have them live in the Feywild.
Yeah, there you
that's
go,
where they'd
exactly.
be from. Boom. There's your Moonstone Dragon straight out of the Feywild.
And these guys, these prismatic dragons, one I liked about them was they're not gem dragons.
Right.
They're not gem dragons, they're not metallics, they're not chromatics. They fall somewhere squarely in that middle category. And they're not considered a neutral dragon.
Right.
And they're the only one that comes across straight out the book, at chaotic neutral.
Now, that's one thing I thought that was kind of interesting about the Radiant Dragons is that they don't have any particular alignment. They can be pretty much anything. They tend toward good, but not always.
Let me throw something out that I've always enjoyed. By the way, the good old yellow.
Yep. There's our
And
steel
there's
dragon
your
there.
boy, the steel.
Yep. Oh, they got the picture way wrong.
This is
yeah.
second ed, for Christ's sakes, too. Come on. Shadow dragons, when they were actual type. Mist dragons, these guys were cool. Deep dragon, Mercury dragons. This is Freddy all over again.
Yep.
Cloud. That was one we didn't mention last time we were talking about them.
Yeah.
Again, they don't fall into the...
We didn't mention the brown dragon either.
No.
Did we? In the
Not
no,
really.
no, we mentioned him
mentioned
a little
him
bit
in
in
passing, but it wasn't anything major.
the chromatic dragons.
And then you get into things like topaz,
Yep, there's the gem dragons.
and emerald, and sapphire, and amethyst, and crystal.
I always thought it was funny, like how many dragons they included in these older books.
Okay, cool. Oh, by the way, guess what? It's a picture of Kayla, 8 of Kayla, in a suit of armor,
There's the
wandering
fairy
around
dragon.
looking for random deals.
Yeah, of course. I'm just 8 pseudo-dragons in a suit.
Yep. I thought it was fairy dragons.
It's 8 fairy dragons, yeah.
Yep.
Pseudo dragons for familiars.
Yep.
Fire drakes, man. And one of the things
See,
that
they got
nobody-
rid of dragonettes in, I don't know if they did it before 5th ed or not, but you have wormlings and stuff like that. So they have those young dragons and young adult dragons and all the way down to the hatchlings.
Yeah. Have you seen the dragon?
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that one.
That's a really old lion brass dragon. It's like Manticore on crack. It's terrifying beyond all measure.
So the one I had, I think it's the same book, but I think they had two different versions. They had the bound one. I had the binder.
You have
That
all
was
these in
the
separate
Monstrous
ones.
Compendium.
Yeah.
And you could just get all the all the expansions for it and just
These
throw
are
them in the
just
binder.
these are just annuals for each year that came out.
Yeah.
That's 4.